Do you remember we were speaking about evolution, and I asked you, what would you do if you will have ability to control the evolution? We discussed about some things, and so about different changes that we could do. But let's imagine a little bit more about changes and about some effects that we can expect after that. For example, do you like rabbits? So I bet you do. So they're nice. Maybe you're gonna take some of them for another planet if the humanity will explore one. But just think twice, because maybe you will have to build a huge fence to protect yourself from rabbits, just like Australia did. One of the biggest fences in the world, more than 3,000 kilometers long, built in Australia, and it divides the whole country from south to north to protect West Australia from the rabbits. Of course, it's difficult to imagine that 24 rabbits that were brought to Australia in 1869 by the colonists, after 100 years, will lead to a population of 600 million rabbits. 600 million rabbits, which at some point literally ate the entire south of Australia and transforming the vast patches into the deserts. It is understood that locals were in panic and they decided what to do with this problem. Decided to be fenced from the rabbits. 400 people built this fence for 6 years. A special patrol team patrolling this fence every day. And during the patrol, they repair the fence and shoot all the rabbits near the fence. So they constructed a road along this fence and brought camels to help patrolling. But you know, Australia is really unlucky with imported animals. After the with the development of technologies, they started to use cars for the patrolling, and no, they did not come up with anything else to do with camels than to release it into the wild. It seems that they already forgot about the story of camels, because nature already showed them that it's a bad idea to bring animals to Australia because of its unique ecosystem and the lack of predators. Now, and speaking of predators, maybe we can ask, do you like tigers? Maybe you would like to increase the population of some rare species of tigers in the world. But you also need to be careful and think twice, because these tigers could be dangerous for you, maybe your rabbits. In the 50s of the last century, in Russia, there was a stable population of Almaty tigers, which had a sufficient basis of food. The tigers feared the human and showed no interest in their activities because they had enough horse and deer for meal. But after the breakup of the Soviet Union, Russia decided to start the recovery program of famous tigers. It started in 2010, and they plan to increase the population of tigers in half. And while the number of tigers is growing, there becomes less food for them. The southern tigers began to attack domestic animals, and now is the big risk maybe they can start attack people, men. As you can see, the predators are not dangerous for human, while human don't disturb them. But not only animals dangerous, inanimate nature also can respond to the invasion of people. We used to call it natural disaster, forgetting that most of these disasters are caused by human. For example, maybe you want to grow more cotton and rice to produce more food and more clothes for people. Yeah, this sounds like a good idea, but you should think hard about the ways how you want to do this. In the early 60s of the last century, the water from the rivers flowing into Aral Sea started to use for irrigating fields of cotton and rice. It takes up a large part of the flow into the main rivers, which sharply reduces the flow of the water into Aral Sea, and the balloon had been reduced fast and the salinity level rose. Dust storms spread open salt from the sea bottom, from the former sea bottom to a distance of 500 kilometers on the fields. Ironically, all this fact led to the destruction of plants and crops on the fields that were irrigated from the water from the Siberia River. And the breakup of the Soviet Union again put an end to the grand plan to transport the water from the big Siberian rivers to the Aral Sea. And it only remains to be happy that it's not possible to finish the project because we never know what else might happen after that. All of these cases, people try to change the nature, bring rabbits to newly discovered continent, increase the population of tigers, or irrigate fields. And at first sight, this idea seems very good. These changes seems very good. But as you can see, these changes have caused major problems for the countries, for the continents, and maybe for entire planet. To avoid such problems, we should think twice each time we make a decision. We should ask, do we really need these changes? Are we ready for the consequences? Are we expecting them? We should remember that we are the part of the nature. We should remember how to live in harmony, how to enjoy the beauty and majesty of nature. Let's cherish and love it, our nature. Let's go hiking and breathe fresh mountain air. Just let's spend this Friday evening together on the Talgar Pass, drinking hot tea and looking at the stars. Thank you.